Hey friends! Remember last week we read the story Alma and how she got her name? And we really enjoyed Juana Martinez Neal's book. And we thought about how we got our names. Well, now we've had a chance to enjoy this book. I really want you to learn from this book. I think that Juana is a wonderful author, and we're going to learn from the way she writes to help us with our writing. We're going to use her book as a mentor text to learn from. So I'm just going to read a small part of it. We've all read it before, but I'm going to read a small part of the story. And then I'm going to tell you what I've learned from reading this part. My name is so long, Daddy. It never fits, Alma said. Come here, he said. Let me tell you the story of your name. Then you decide if it fits. Sophia was your grandmother, he began. She loved books, poetry, jasmine flowers, and, of course, me. She was the one who taught me how to read. I love books and flowers, and you too, Daddy. I am Sophia. So, what did I learn? So let me tell you about what I learned. I learned about one really cool way to start a story. To open a story with rich dialogue. What do I mean by that? It's a conversation between two people. And you can tell these are two people that really care about each other. So I think that makes it extra special. The dialogue introduces the main characters in the story, and it introduced the problem in the story. Alma thinks her name's too long, right? And why do I think, that using dialogue is an effective way, a good way for writers to start a story? I think it's because having it as a conversation between two people, two of the characters, it made me feel as a reader like I was there, right there in the moment with the characters, sort of listening in to the characters speak. So I think that's one really good way to start a story. So I think that's something that I could try with a story, and perhaps one way that I can think about doing that is to try to think of a conversation that I've had with somebody that I really care about. It might be a funny conversation or a loving conversation, and it might be something that sparks the idea of a story in me. And do you know what's even more great as a writer? You don't have to just remember the conversation and write it down. You can add to the conversation and make it better and change it, right? You get to be the author. So, I'm thinking of a conversation that I had with my brother. So I think I'm going to make him one of the characters in my story. And our conversation was all about penguins, right? Because my brother's obsessed with penguins, and I really wanted to know why. I wanted him to tell me the story of why. So quite often often what I do is I just jot down the first things that come into my head. Now remember, you can always change these as a writer, right? This doesn't have to be perfect. You can just get your ideas down for a conversation and then we can change it. So, how did the conversation start? It was something like, Alan, you have so many penguins. You have penguin stickers. Oh, penguin stickers. Penguin books. Penguin posters. A penguin mug. And now you have a giant penguin named Shackleton. And he said, Shackleton is the most important penguin of all. Let me tell you a story about Shackleton. So, that was just one way of thinking about a conversation and jotting down my ideas, and then I can come back and change them and improve it. But in your writer's notebooks, I would love for you to try this strategy. So try this author's craft, this way of starting a story using a dialogue between the two characters and maybe giving the readers a clue about the characters and maybe a clue about what the story will be about. So I'm really excited to read your writer's notebooks, and the other thing I want you to try and do is, as you're reading this week, I want you to see if you can bring me any books where the author either starts the book with dialogue or moves the story forward using dialogue. And we can write those examples up on our author's craft wall in our classroom. So thank you, writers. Again, I'm looking forward to reading your writing.